what is happening there. You can also send us an email if you've got more comments beneath or beyond just stating with 140 characters on Twitter. So there you go, Nigeria2015@channelcv.com. Well, joining us tonight to discuss these matters, we've got Bola Bakari, who is a development consultant. And then we also do have Yemi Fawemi, who is a human resources practitioner. So I'm going to go ahead and join them and then get to the matter. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
What is the biggest issue now? Looking forward to the big day, February 14 and 28. But then the other matter now is the collection of the permanent voter cards. This window that INEC has given, even though we'll come to the comments making the rounds about whether or not the elections be postponed, but as far as INEC is concerned, they think they are A-OK. But about the collection of the permanent voter cards, let's start with Mr. Bakari. What's your experience?
I want to look at the angle of INEC as being the midwife in this scenario. And in the case of a proper midwife, you have the mother of the kid, you have the father hanging out somewhere, unrelaxed, with a lot of anxiety on his person. So also is this situation that we have on our hands. But basically, I would like to think for the midwife, INEC. Honestly, INEC is personified by the person of Jega. And lately, Jega has been able to impress me as a person. Because when a man admits his mistakes, that means he wants to improve on it. He wants to make amends and then improve on it. And over time, Jega has been moving along as it comes. As a country, as a people, and as a process in electioneering, it is not easy. But Jega has been up to it as we speak. What he has done lately is he has been able to procure PVCs for us, 68.8 million of them. And over time, we're now dealing with a situation of distributing these PVCs. Before we castrate the man, we need to look inwards. Think about ourselves as Nigerians. How do we respond to issues? How do we react to issues? Honestly, most people are not talking about the PVCs that are ready at the PUs and not collected. People are crying about PVCs that are not produced yet, or PVCs that are not available. Honestly, I can tell you from our own analysis that there are PVCs on ground that Nigerians have not collected. Some Nigerians don't even care if it's there or not. It's only in a few states where the government in power makes it a kind of, it is your duty, you need to do this, you need to do that, go and get your PVC, it might be to your advantage. That is when the average Nigerian moves towards it. But as we speak, INEC has done a good job. We have the PVCs on ground. As the problems come along, INEC has been able to meet up with it. Jega said, okay, we had a date prior, which was January 31st. He felt, well, this is not going to be possible. He said, okay, February 8th. At the end of the day, if you remember what he said last week, he said, as I am looking at it, if it warrants me distributing PVCs till the day prior to elections, I will surely do that. That is a move in the right direction. And I guess, honestly, I want to tell Nigerians, go and pick up your PVCs.
All right, Mr. Yemi Fawemi, how do you see this playing out? I mean, they've got the question of logistics, but at the moment they say when they get to the bridge, they'll cross it. So this week, I'm sure you've also heard or been out there to see what's going on with the collection of these PVCs. What have you noticed?
Okay, I think one of the things that we should not forget is the fact that INEC is like a normal organization that has goals and targets and our processes and has people to make those things happen. So one of the deliverables of INEC, unfortunately, we assume that's the only deliverable of INEC is to conduct elections. And therefore, part of the process, now, we have not started election, we're just distributing cards. And that's one of the things I've always raised as a human resource practitioner, that one of the greatest challenges in we choosing those that run INEC is we forget the greatest challenge of INEC has always been logistics. There are people that take examination papers around this country twice every year, either as WAEC or as NECO JAM, and they get to every part of this country. But when we describe the competencies of those who run INEC, we don't think about logistics, and that's the bulk of the problem.
Why do you think that's so?
Yeah, because of the fact that we assume that you need to be a professor of political science or something in humanities to run INEC. INEC is not just about election. INEC is, the election is just a day and we're done with that election. But before then, you need to do quite a lot of heavy lifting of logistics. What happened is that in the past 4 to 5 weeks, we have only been able to distribute about 5 million cards. So when you say we're going to distribute the rest cards in 1 week, and that's where you also need to think about the organizational capability of INEC, because an organization will not naturally use a funnel method to distribute. So you go wide and you narrow down. What INEC is doing is they went the other way. So they had it in local governments. Thereafter, they couldn't make it. They brought it to more centralized. Now, this week in Lagos, they have agreed that they're going to take it to the PUs. That's what you don't do in organizational distribution. You actually go wide and you come narrow. So you realize that the challenge INEC has is an issue of capacity. Now, which is not to me, they're not doing better, like he had said earlier. And let's be real with ourselves. How many voters cards did we have before we had the election in the Ekiti State? Just about the same percentage, 66 thereabout percent. Yeah. So for them, when we are scared, for them, they are looking at the figures in Ekiti. We did 68 and we had election. In, where's the next state? In Osun, we had 60-something and we had election. So what you have for them is like, listen, there's nothing to be afraid about. We're a 60-something country. And when you think about the other parastatals in governments, when you go to the hospital, when a woman goes to give birth to a child, what percentage come out alive? When you write WAEC, how many people pass the exams? So the 60-something goal is the Nigerian public sector goal. When we do 60-something, we perform. We get an A, we get applauded, and when we're happy.
Well, don't forget that whatever happens with the elections, whoever goes to court, they have to check if, as our laws require, if there is substantial compliance. So if INEC is trying to ensure that there's substantial compliance, is there anything wrong with them ensuring that, look, let's do as much as we can? So it's up to the people to come out and collect their PVCs.
Yeah, but the question again is, okay, so INEC should do the needful, and that's to get over the card. But the question is, you don't make mistakes when you want to do stuff like that. So we are having state governments now declaring public holiday the last 2 days. That's what we should have done at the beginning. I mean, this country should not be run on those kind of paradigms. What is going to happen is, if you declare 2 days of public holiday in Lagos and people don't go to work. Now, mind you, in all the states that have declared public holiday, it has only been for state civil servants. Not the private sector, not the federal government. So, for example, how will you get your card? They're going to show up here tomorrow and next tomorrow. So the question is that the public holiday are not working. Now, when you even allow people to go on public holiday, what happens to them? There's more chaos because everybody is at home. Now, so the question is, this is what we should have done, and by now, you should be gathering and going in that funnel.
So does that suggest that you don't think that they can meet up distributing even, say, all of the remaining PVCs?
I think we have 44. We're going to 68, and that is like 24 million. The figures I have is that they did 5 million in 1 month. That's the figure I have.
5 million in a month?
In 1 month. We moved from 38.7 to 44 million in about the space of 1 month. That's like 5 million. So how do we want to do it? But we can. Don't forget then, it was not close to the people. Secondly, most of the INEC officials were getting there at like 10 and closing at 3 or 4. But now they have said it's going to be 8 to whatsoever time. So the point is, don't make a mistake in your distribution. There are guys that distribute everyday newspapers in this city, in this country.
Let's hear
and
from,
so we should not make mistakes about it. These are things that happen everywhere in Nigeria, and we're suddenly making it seem as if it's rocket science. It's distribution of cards. I can give everybody here now in the next 5 seconds if I have it.
But Kaide Doe is standing by. He joins us via Skype. He's the Chief Press Secretary to the Chairman of INEC. Thank you for joining us again today, Kaide. Could you bring us up to speed now? What is the current figure about the permanent voter cards distributed?
Thank you, Chairman. As we speak, as of Monday, the Commission has distributed over 45 million cards, which is 65.5%. Precisely, we distributed 45,098,876 cards. That was as at Monday.
So what's the target? Is it possible? Are you looking forward to, or do you think that you can distribute the remaining this week?
Yeah, the idea is that for as many, the cards are available, efforts are being made to encourage